I got an email from YouTube. I guess it was a few months ago now. It was like at midnight too, at the weirdest time, that I got the opportunity to go to LA and interview him. And I remember crying because I was like, my childhood dreams are coming true. Finally, little Juliet will be so happy. I'm not sure exactly what the trajectory is going to look like in terms of short form to long form, because the transition is notoriously difficult. I mean, I have over 1.5 million subscribers, and my videos on average get many millions of views. But when I posted my first long form video that I had worked on for months with a video editor and videographer, it achieved a total sum of 800 views. And I was getting thousands of reels, as we all were, just inundated with Louvre news. And I said, well, this is directly related to art. Why don't I just repurpose this trending news and make it work with my content? So just by adding a caption that had that keyword Louvre in it, I think I was able to tap into that news piece.
Hello, I'm Dustin PolyInnovator. Today I'm talking with Juliet Rofe, aka Girl Who Eats Art, who is a YouTuber, professional art eater, and managing partner at Kevin Champeny Studio. Thank you for joining me on the PolyTools Creator Spotlight.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you.
Me too. Know that, like we were just saying before the call, you and I just keep yapping as much as we want, but let's get it on the actual call itself. So I was watching one of the interviews you were doing with somebody before, and it turns out like you were doing social media work at like 16, 17 when it comes to all this. Is that basically what you got started doing content, or did you do content before? How did that get going for you?
It's actually a really crazy story of how I ended up in content eventually. So I'm going to try to do a truncated version, but let's see. I feel like I have to tell you the story of how I ended up in art to explain how I ended up doing content. So back in 2016, my dad, who is an entrepreneur, started an opportunity in aerospace because he was also a sport/hobby pilot. So he flew airplanes for fun in addition to being an entrepreneur. And when he got the opportunity to invest in a new aerospace company, he said, absolutely, I'll go for it. So he invested in this company. And around the same time, the airplane that he was flying at the time has some engineering issues. So he goes to the company's engineer named Kevin Champeny. And over the period of fixing my dad's plane, they become fast friends. And my dad says to Kevin, what do you really do? You're so creative. Not only do you fix airplane engines, you paint the planes, you build physical infrastructure. You're so multi-talented. And he says, well, Richard, I'm actually an artist. Why don't you come by my house and see my work sometime? So my dad says, all right, I'll check it out. Goes over to Kevin's house, takes a look at his walls, and says, Kevin, what you do is unique, inimitable, incredible. I've never seen art quite like this before. You have to pursue this as a full-time job. Give me a call if you ever really want to do art. So a few weeks later, apropos of nothing, my dad gets a call from Kevin, and Kevin says, Richard, I quit my job. I'm ready to be a famous artist. Quit your job. What are you talking about? Wow, maybe you jumped the gun there, but okay, let's make this happen. So my dad starts working with Kevin and building him a business foundation for his art business. And about a year later, I was 16 at the time. The social media manager and marketing director my dad had hired for Kevin, she quit very abruptly. So my dad's freaking out because he doesn't know where to hire another person. It was kind of like a windfall hire. And I said, look, I know I'm 16 years old, but I think I have a knack for social media. My bikini photos get likes all the time on Instagram. Like, I'm sure I can run a professional artist page, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't know what kind of blind confidence I had in me at 16, but it did work. And within a few weeks, we went from about 10,000 followers online to over 50,000 and eventually over 3 million like we have today. So that's how I got started in content, doing it for someone else. How I got started doing my own content was my junior year of college. My ex-boyfriend, actually, he was a famous YouTuber, and he encouraged me to do my own YouTube channel and use this up-and-coming feature called Shorts. And I was like, Julius, what are you talking about? You think I should use Shorts? And he said, absolutely. That's the hot thing to do. So I said, okay, you're a genius. I absolutely trust you on this. And I posted on Shorts, and my video got 70 million views overnight. And I knew that my life had been changed.
That was like the mic drop moment right there.
That was the mic drop moment. And I'm so sorry for that craziness of a story, but it is quite the story that took me to content creation.
The craziness of that story is basically, I think, what a lot of people need to know too, because since you don't have as much long form content on your channel, people that maybe not know your story as much, or even Kevin's story as much either. Like, it took me a minute to actually know who Kevin was when I first found you back in the day. And so it's one of those things where having that explanation is probably helpful to a lot of people, but it's also your history too. And it's probably the rocket launch for what you're going to do next. And so you started with shorts. Obviously, that translates well to Instagram Reels and TikTok. So short form video as a whole. Do you think you're going to be doing more long form in the future, or maybe some more some live streams kind of based content? Where do you think your future is?
Absolutely. So I recently started posting a few long form videos because I got into interviewing with a few different Disney stars, thanks to YouTube and Disney. Shout out to you guys. And those videos have been performing pretty well as long form. So I have another Disney interview planned for next week, and that will be a long form video as well. So I'm not sure exactly what the trajectory is going to look like in terms of short form to long form because the transition is notoriously difficult. I mean, I have over 1.5 million subscribers and my videos on average get many millions of views. But when I posted my first long form video that I had worked on for months with a video editor and videographer, it achieved a total sum of 800 views. And this was after months of having posted this video. So long form is a really difficult transition because it's a different game. It's just a completely different platform and a completely different career. And it's something that I'm really excited to explore. I recently started working with a YouTube strategist. Thank you very much, Vivek. And he's been helping me map my transition out from shorts creator to long form and teaching me how to engage the shorts audience I already have and to transform them into a long form audience.
It's definitely a good point to make. Even before I get to the next question here, something I talk about a lot on this channel is how to be a creator. And I talk about the triangle effect where you have like shorts, long, and live, and then even like video, written, and audio too. So 2 different triangles there. Each one of those points are all different skills. So like you said, the transition is more of just like, it's a new skill. Like it's a long form is a completely new beast for you in a way. Now, when I say long form, it could be different than when you say long form. So how long do you think a lot of your videos would be on average, do you think, going forward?
I'd say my current long form videos are like 3 to 5 minutes, which is quite short for long form. But the one that I'm working on right now with my editor is about 15 minutes. It's going to be a lot of diversity in terms of the length of my long form because I'm just experimenting. I always like to say, I feel like Helen Keller. I'm going in deaf, blind, and mute. I have no idea what I'm doing and kind of just going for something, failing forward and failing fast.
Roberto Blake talks about this a lot. I've kind of echoed it as like a parrot. You got to get to like 100 reps. And once you get to 100 reps, that's when you'll start feeling a little bit more comfortable with it.
That's exactly right. And that's translated in a lot of areas of my life as well. I mean, I used to be a songwriter. That was my primary kind of occupation and passion. And I got the chance to speak with Taylor Swift's dad when I was a younger girl and talk to him about my songwriting and my career ambitions. And he said, Juliet, call me back when you've written 100 songs. Not until then. Not 99, not 98, 100 songs. So there is something about that 100 reps where you finally get that right.
It's funny because Gary Vee talked about this like one point. He was doing a keynote and someone asked if they could interview him. They just like shot in the dark kind of thing. And he's like, how many interviews have you done? He's like 6. And he's like, call me when you've done 60, which is not 100, but like it still was one of those things that's like kind of a hallmark. You've made some progress. And for some reason that stuck with me, and I was trying to get to like a 60 or 100 reps of interviews, and now it's like around 200. But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's so much fun. One thing that I would want to ask, and by the way, speaking of songwriting, are you going to probably do that on your channel as well? I feel like you could make a new channel, but it might just be better to put it on that one to keep things simple.
So funnily enough, I started a new channel just a few weeks ago called Girl Who Plays Music, where I do share my musical endeavors because I used to go live every other night on Girl Who Eats Art. And I would play music, perform my own music, cover songs as well. And I said, well, this is not really going to go well with my current audience as much as they enjoy the lives. I'm just going to go head first and start a new channel. And that's kind of what I've done. So hopefully I'll have the chance to post a lot more on there as well.
It's always an interesting dynamic because my other channel is about being multifaceted. And so having multiple topics in one channel makes sense. And if it's your personal brand, it makes sense. And Girl Who Eats Art is technically your personal brand, but it is very art focused. So it does also make sense that you make a second channel for music, even though music is a type of art. And so it's one of those, depends on how much content I guess you're going to make on that channel or how much you want to separate things.
Exactly. And I feel like I'm learning along the way how much diversity you can have as a creator with your channel. Because I run such a niche channel, it's really difficult to go outside of the box that I've created for myself. So sometimes I'll push it and I'll do a video that is arts related, but doesn't exactly hit my niche, and it absolutely flops. So that's always a fun thing to learn, kind of the constraints of putting yourself in a niche.
And it's also interesting too when it comes to lives versus long versus short, because sometimes you could almost have a different niche per type, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So like when you're doing your lives, you're doing music and it didn't really interact with the shorts, but yeah, it's fun. Fun dynamics.
Absolutely.
You interviewed Justin Rousseau, how'd that feel given how you're a fan of Waverly Place? Because you're talking about Disney.
Oh my goodness. I am the biggest Disney Channel fan. Wizards of Waverly Place was always my number one favorite show growing up, and probably still is, because I think it translates really well, even post-adolescence. When I watched that show growing up, I just had the biggest crush on Justin Russo. Sorry, David Henry, I know I interviewed you, so don't want to make things awkward. But yeah, I had a huge crush on Justin. And I always thought to my younger self, oh my God, I have to meet him one day. That would just be like the greatest thing that happens in my life. I got an email from YouTube. I guess it was a few months ago now. It was like at midnight too, at the weirdest time, that I got the opportunity to go to LA and interview him. And I remember crying because I was like, my childhood dreams are coming true. Finally, little Juliet will be so happy. And it was such a fantastic experience. I did an interview before that with Disney, with the cast of Zombies 4, which was amazing. But I didn't grow up with that generation of film. So getting to interview someone that I had seen on TV for my entire childhood and also idolized was remarkable. And David is such a wonderful, warm, friendly person. So getting to chat with him and get to know him on a personal level was also really rewarding.
It definitely seems very rewarding. You can even tell on the video too how excited you are and how warm he is. It's really nice.
Yeah, it was wonderful, especially because I think a lot of the Disney stars tend to be extremely kind people in general. And maybe they're just very well, PR trained. But what I've noticed is I've met a lot of actors in my life. My whole entire family is in the acting business. Aunts, uncles, my dad was in the acting world for a while. So I've had the chance to grow up and be around industry people. And oftentimes you're dealing with ego and mean types and kind of bitchiness. The Disney actors that I have met and the Disney crew and all of the people in Disney production in general have been extremely kind, humble, grounded, lovely people.
That's amazing. Just resonating with you too. One of my first interviews on this show was with Nick Nimmin, who was someone I looked up to at a younger age. And we got to meet him at VidSummit as well. And it was just one of those things where being around somebody who you've looked up to for a long time is such an amazing feeling. So I empathize with that with you.
Yeah, I don't even have the words for it to this day, because my friends are still like, you get to do these Disney interviews. That's so cool. And all I can respond is, yeah. It's extraordinarily fun for me. I mean, it's a passion I never thought I'd get to pursue, interviewing people that I watch on TV. So it's so cool.
I remember seeing at the end too, like doing the little magic wand thing with the ears.
Yeah. Oh, the Disney ID. That was so fun. Yeah, I was like, you have to let me do this video, guys. I have a new Disney interview coming up that I'm going to be filming this Saturday. I'm not going to tell you the cast member, but it will be someone from Dog with a Blog, if you ever saw that show. So that was executed independently of Disney, just with the actor themselves. And I am so excited for that interview. I think it's going to be amazing and a totally different experience, because we're not filming with the YouTube office or with the Disney personnel, let's say, watching. I think it's going to be slightly more intimate and maybe kind of a longer interview experience. And I think it's going to just be a really cool learning experience for myself. So I can't wait.
I think so too, especially with the learning aspect. And the interviews are really great for repurposing too. So this call, for example, is going to be 45 minutes to an hour, whatever it would be. And I'm going to chop that up into clips, and that's great for shorts. Repurposing into shorts versus making shorts from scratch are two different skills, obviously. Do you think that you would put your repurposed clips onto your shorts, or are you going to keep it more just from scratch? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love repurposing. It's funny because what I'll do is do like short form compilations into long form.
Yeah. So many
like
people
with
don't
my
do that,
zombies
though.
interviews video. I mean, my friend Jennifer, Miss Beanie, was a brilliant YouTuber herself. She was telling me how her most viral long form videos are just compilations of her shorts. And I said, look, I need a low effort project right now because I'm kind of swamped with my artwork. I'm going to do that and throw it together and see how it goes. And it was my best performing long form video. So thank you, Jennifer.
I bet you could also find like your top 12 clips too that you've shared and make that into another video too, if that's not what you already did.
Absolutely. Exactly. Stuff like that. Because, a lot of YouTubers have other jobs outside of doing YouTube, such as myself. Like my 9 to 5 or 8 to 6 is filled with everything but content creation. So when I have those spare 2 or 3 hours every week, you can only do so much with that time. And those little tricks of repurposing old content or putting together a compilation, that's what allows me to continue what I'm doing.
It's funny because, doing so many interviews on this show, so many people have talked about repurposing from long to short. None of them have talked about it from short to long, when that's obviously an option too. So thank you.
I'm a lazy person in like a great way. I think lazy people can be super efficient. And I said, what is the easiest thing for me to do with the least effort? And yeah, it worked, I guess. So
Yeah.
there you go.
So when it comes to making content, it's always really good to be mindful of, happening events and stuff like that, and going to events like VidSummit or Disney. And one thing I saw is that you made a video short of "Did you rob the Louvre?" And it was very on time with the real event that happened. Like I was pretty sure it was like pretty quick right after it happened. So what was going through your mind when you came up with that video?
Yeah, I don't plan my videos in a content calendar. I wake up that morning and I say, what am I doing right now? So oftentimes it'll be the first thing that comes to mind for me. And I was getting thousands of reels, as we all were, just inundated with Louvre news. And I said, well, this is directly related to art. Why don't I just repurpose this trending news and make it work with my content? So just by adding a caption that had that keyword Louvre in it, I think I was able to tap into that news piece.
Riding the waves are definitely a very important aspect of growth. Is that partially how you also grew your channels originally, and obviously Kevin's channels too?
I grew entirely from riding the wave of others, which I'll explain to you. So I was never taught how to be a social media manager or how to create content. I was a 16-year-old girl who was very creative minded. What I would do is I would spend 4 to 5 hours a day on TikTok for research purposes only. And I would find what the most viral videos were in multiple niches. That could be art, that could be cooking, kind of all creative things. And I would say, how can I redo this exact video, but with art? And there was this one video which had, I think, like 5 million views, which at the time was a tremendous amount. And I saw how captivating the music choice was, the shots were, kind of the narrative arc of the video. And I said, look, I would never copy someone else's actual content because that's just stealing and not creativity. But I found that these particular elements of the video made it compelling for me. Why don't I take those parts of the video, adopt them to what Kevin's doing, and make a video like that? So I made a video using the format of another creator, and it got 150 million views, ended up in BuzzFeed, all over the news. So that was pretty fantastic. And then I said, okay, people are clearly creating formulas. That's what a trend is, right? Just by adopting these formulas to your own niche. That's how you go viral. And that's how I did it for Kevin. For myself, it was content that had kind of never been posted on the internet before. And I think that's what was so special about it. But definitely for Kevin's channel, it was all about adopting trends.
I was also watching, I think Dr. Mike was talking about like the oddly satisfying videos, where essentially it triggers a part of our brain where when you watch those like slime videos or something clean or something like that, it just makes us feel like we're being productive. And I feel like your Girl Who Eats Arts videos is one of those things where it kind of triggers that satisfying videos. Like sometimes people have that urge to eat something like that. And with all the pills or candies that the art is being made out of, your initial reaction or like almost primal urge is to want to eat it. And then you get to be the vessel for the people watching.
I think that's very much spot on, and it's kind of what propels the viewership of my videos. It's really exciting to see someone do something that would otherwise be illicit or controversial or just impolite, right? And to give people the freedom to watch that online is, I think, really exciting. I think that's what's sometimes really compelling about some of Mr. Beast videos. Like when he'll do challenges of putting people in rooms for a certain amount of day and they're not allowed to have outside contact. Like these are things that you otherwise wouldn't be able to do in your daily life, but getting the freedom to watch it on your phone is thrilling. And I think that's where the primary viewership comes from.
You also have a unique POV too when it comes to like Mr. Beast is like purely entertainment, and there's edutainment and there's educational content as well. But you kind of have this unique position where a lot of your content is art, so people get to appreciate it. So there's almost an educational factor. Someone doesn't know that piece, now they're exposed to that piece because of the new piece that you are showcasing, you are eating. And so there's kind of like edutainment mix in the mix for you, I feel like.
Thank you. And I like to feel like I'm doing more than adding brain rot to YouTube's algorithm, because I know that a lot of shorts tend to amplify this kind of brain rot or, AI focused or shittily produced content. I don't want to be one of those creators. I think because I'm specifically, like you said, in the art realm, there is this contribution, this almost educational contribution just from getting to see different artists. And additionally, by posting artists' work, I get to amplify their creations. It's really hard to make a living as an artist. So the fact that I get to promote artists and on such a grand scale is really rewarding. And I think audiences like seeing art that they wouldn't otherwise see in a more pretentious, rarefied museum, more contemporary pieces that you might find only by searching on, your explore page on Instagram.
Obviously, you can't go eat the real Mona Lisa with munch on the paper or parchment, but you could eat the more pill-based version. And so it makes sense that there's a bit of transition there. Did you see a lot of conversion when it comes to from the marketing side of things to your actual the studio?
Yeah, if you're saying in terms of art sales, absolutely, especially when it comes to the brand deal side. Kevin does a lot of corporate and brand deal work. So having that extra visibility on my platform has allowed us to work with a lot more brands and unlock a lot of cool opportunities. Additionally, it's extremely helpful when it comes to getting into galleries and being represented, because galleries want to know that they're supporting an artist who is already appreciated, right? They only have so much wall space, and it's a very expensive business to be in, especially when the market is overall suffering a bit. So when they're choosing an artist, they have to be extremely careful what art they curate. So to know that Kevin has a following and gets such great visibility online is very reassuring for them.
Getting that social proof ahead of time, yeah.
Exactly. That's right.
Yeah. You said you're making that new channel about music. You have this one about art. Maybe down the line you might have one about acting. Do you think you'll have a cinematic universe of all these different channels and ecosystem?
I would love to have a CMU. That is my absolute dream. I have far too many hobbies that I would like to film and make content about, but that just don't go with my music or art page. I mean, I kind of love doing everything. I'd love to have a reading page and a book club and a cooking page and this, that, and the other. So I think it's just a matter of finding time for all this.
Finding time is obviously one thing, but multidisciplinary personal branding is something I've talked about a lot. And I actually just came up with an idea, girl who does everything. And
I was just about to... You beat me to it, Dustin. You really did.
Great minds.
Great minds think alike. Exactly. Yeah, girl who does everything. That would be a great one. And I'd love for people to refer to me as that as well. Okay. That's quite the ego boost as well.
Well, my other channel is about being polymathic, and so I might actually have to talk to Kevin on there as well, and then eventually have you on there as well.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Yeah, I would love that, for sure.
We connected over at Vid Summit, and there's a lot of cool stories from that event. You've been to a lot of other events. You've been doing content now for many years. Can you share your favorite story that's happened to you as a content creator, Juliet?
Yeah, so I've been a professional content creator for a year and a half, I guess almost 2 years now. And I have been to VidCon and Vid Summit. My favorite story
doesn't have
from
to be
being
about the
a
events.
content creator.
Yeah, it can just be in general.
Well, my favorite thing that happened to me was recently I got invited by Disney to attend the Jonas Brothers Christmas movie premiere. And as it was their premiere, the brothers were all present. The after party was at the Plaza Hotel in the sprawling ballroom. And it was stunning underneath the Christmas tree with the Jonas Brothers ornaments and famous DJ. I've just never experienced anything like that in my life before. And of course, the cherry on top was getting to meet and chat with all of the Jonas Brothers, which was just again,
growing up with Camp Rock and all that.
Yeah, literally. I just can't believe my life sometimes. But I would say most of the content creator life isn't that glamorous unless your job is just going to movie premieres, because some people are more in that film space. I'd say most of it is planning content, doing strategy, research, filming, editing. And then there's the 2% that makes it to your Instagram, where it makes it look like your life is like Hollywood all the time. I have a million stories from being in the content sphere because unique things happen just about every day. I feel like we need a 6-hour podcast for that.
I'll have you back on, but you can share another story if you have one off the top of your head.
Yeah, sure. I was studying abroad in Florence just last year. And this was a few months after I got into posting on YouTube. I was walking the streets at around 11 o'clock at night, just minding my own business. And this guy calls me over and he says, "Ah, bella, ragazzi, you are the girl who eats art. La niña che mangia art. How amazing. I see your live stream. So very good. You sing on there. Very, very nice. Very, very nice." And I said, "I have never been recognized in my life for anything. And I am being recognized on the streets of Florence by an Italian man. This is awesome." My goodness.
That is awesome.
I hope I haven't butchered the Italian accent.
No, I thought it was
the
perfect.
Italian language.
I thought you spoke Italian pretty well.
Grazie.
As a fan of Leonardo da Vinci, I definitely, when you mentioned Florence, I was like, oh, Florence, yeah, that's amazing.
Oh yeah, my time there was fantastic. And that was the only time I've ever been recognized in general in my whole life. So it's a near and dear story.
That is also, I've heard stories like that before. People talk about, oh yeah, I got recognized at Walmart, or I got recognized at the mall, or something like that, but not in the middle of the night in Italy. That's amazing.
Florence.
In Florence.
It's funny because most of my audience, the majority of my audience by far, is international. India, Brazil, Indonesia, and Turkey. And those are all places I haven't gotten the chance to visit yet. So when I do, I'm really curious if anyone else there knows me.
I wanted to also ask, you were mentioning repurposing earlier, and you mentioned like some of the things you're doing, like strategy wise, but I really love to go into tools. So what kind of tools do you use as a content creator and social media person and YouTuber?
I would say my absolute favorite tool of all time is CapCut. It is a free editing app. There are so many possibilities on there. It's easy. It's on the go. I also use Epidemic Sound for the background sounds in my videos. Love them. What else do I use? Oh, I have so many tools. Edits, Instagram edits.
I was going to ask,
the inspiration tab is so helpful because they have this sticky note feature where if you find a video you like, you can write down your idea for how you can repurpose that video for your own channel. And that has been imperative to my growth as a creator. Much larger on YouTube than I am on any other platform. But I found a video on edits that was going viral in the inspiration tab. And I said, okay, I'll adopt this to my own content. And it got 150 million views on Instagram. And that was my best performing reel by far. That trial reels also helps. I'd say those are the main tools I use. And then texting friends videos and saying, give me your harshest constructive criticism. Just tear me away. So let's hear it.
I have a friend who loves AI, and this person literally made a prompt of like, tear into my website, tell me what's right or good or bad about it.
Wow.
And just roasted this person. But it was so proactive in getting that person better designed websites. And I feel like that's kind of also what you could do too, like use AI to roast this video or something like that.
You got to, on another note, send me that prompt, please. If you have that for the website, I genuinely need that for mine. Thank you. You know, I want AI to roast me. I want everyone to be critical of my work because that's what makes it better. Input.
Well, I have input actually. Do you ever think about using Pinterest at all?
In what way?
Well, just basically syndicating your reels or shorts.
I actually started posting on Pinterest and my reels got all of 0 views, but I could try again for sure.
Well, there's automation tools to just kind of set and forget too and whatnot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you want to send those to me later? That'd actually be extremely helpful. Thank you so much.
The one I mainly use is Nuelink, but there's other ones out there too, and I'll mention that later too. But
okay, that'd be so helpful. You're awesome.
Of course. I also wanted to mention congrats on hitting 1.5 mil on YouTube. How does that make you feel?
Thank you. I feel like every milestone, the feeling is the same of, wow, now my parents can get me a cake and understand that I did well.
Yeah.
It's not hitting the mark that feels good. It's genuinely the journey along the way. It doesn't matter how many views or likes a video gets, but the act of actually posting them and making those videos is what is so thrilling to me. But the best part of hitting 1.5 is to see that what I do can be sustainable and that there is a growing audience that wants to see my content. And I can continue to do this in the future because I really love what I do.
The sustainability aspect is also really interesting because I know that some people don't really consider AdSense to be a main source, but then there's other people who rely solely on AdSense. So is there another way of monetization that you're thinking about doing down the line, like a membership or anything like that you think will be useful for your brand?
Absolutely. I mean, I think as I go into long form more, sponsorships will play a much bigger role in what I do.
Oh, yeah.
Paid music deals have been a really big thing for me. So music placements in my shorts even have been a great way to monetize. I'm not sure I'm going to do a membership yet, but I was thinking of starting a newsletter at some point to talk more in depth about arts and arts education because although my channel does showcase different artists, I'd love to get into really the heart of art movements and actually talking about current art news. So hopefully I'll have some time for that.
When you start doing the newsletter, hit me up for about the tools because I just left Substack, for example. And I was on there for a long time and I had a lot of issues with it, especially as a YouTuber. I had a lot of issues with it. And I know there's other tools like Beehive. I use Ghost. We can talk about it when you're ready. But getting into written content will be great for you. But I know there's a lot of tools to choose from and I want to make sure you help you pick the right one.
You're the best. Thank you so much.
How did you feel to share your story on the Bulgarian national television?
That was such a unique opportunity because personally, I don't speak the language, nor have I heard of BNT as I am, New York based and all. But when I got the email from them that they wanted me to appear on the show, that was another I cried moment. I just couldn't believe it. I mean, it's national television. And I was also kind of laughing because the last television show I had appeared on was for Polish national television. And I said, why am I appearing on all of Eastern Europe's national TV? Like, what is going on here? This is hysterical.
Any, ancestry that way? Or?
Weirdly enough, yeah, I am Polish. I am Polish, German, Egyptian background. So maybe it's my genealogy. But getting to speak on BNT was awesome. Unfortunately, I had not slept the night before and the call was at 6 a.m. So I get on to this interview call that I know is being live recorded and going to end up on television. And I think I slurred every single one of my words. I was not able to create a complete sentence. I was just stuttering the whole time. And I remember panicking about it after. I called my whole family. I'm like, well, I was supposed to do this whole national TV thing. It was going to be so prestigious. And I effed up the whole call. But when they actually made it go live, it was all translating into their language. So it didn't matter that I didn't speak well because no one I know could understand it.
That is fantastic, especially with auto dubbing nowadays too. There's so many great tech when it comes to just changing languages like that.
I was thrilled that it wasn't in English. Let's just say that, to say the least.
I was going to say, like, whatever I saw, I thought you were just speaking Bulgarian, like, naturally. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, no, I speak some Italian and French, but Bulgarian is not my third language.
I also really resonated with that story because the first interview I ever did was on this, like, YouTuber podcaster in Australia. And so it was 6 a.m. for me as well. And I am not a morning person at all. And I had no camera, no microphones, or something like that. I might have had like a lavalier mic, but I was literally holding my phone on my couch at like 6 a.m. My hand was shaking. So it was like an hour-long podcast. My arm was getting tired.
Poor thing.
I was switching hands. And it's like I'm trying to use this tiny little light. It was ridiculous. And so I really resonate with what you were saying next. It's like, what, 6 a.m. is not a great time for a meeting.
6 a.m. is not a good time. And also, if you don't have the right equipment, it can really screw it up. I mean, I had to once do a podcast interview in a Chase Bank lobby while holding my phone like this. And also, I thought to myself, I really got to do arm day at the gym because I am not doing well holding up my 1 pound iPhone. It's
you got to get a
not
tripod
working for me. Got to get a tripod.
It's funny because like I was working out at the gym and I was still tired.
Hey, I won't tell.
Yeah, okay. So there is a lot of different ways we can take this conversation. If you have anything else you want to add to, let me know. Obviously, we could talk a little bit about how the moniker of Girl Who Eats Art comes to be, because I know we touched on it a little bit, but I'm kind of curious about the origin of that.
Sure. The origin of Girl Who Eats Art, funnily enough, I cannot remember, but I believe it was something my dad or mother said to me in passing. I had created a video where I pretended to eat one of Kevin's mosaics. This was when I was 14 years old. So before I started actually working with him. But I was at this exhibition where his art was on display, and it was this piece, this candy piece made of, thousands of polyurethane candy pieces. Coincidentally, the mosaic was located next to a bowl of actual candy. And immediately my 14-year-old brain was like, I need an excuse to eat this candy. Let me just pretend I'm eating the mosaic. So I had my dad video this, and I posted it on Kevin's page, and it did quite well. And I think my dad referred to me as like the girl who eats the art. And that kind of stuck in my brain. So that's how that came about.
I love the origin of different like usernames, especially unique ones like this, because it's just, there's always interesting stories behind it.
Oh, it's so ridiculous. And people ask me this all the time because Girl Who Eats Art is just such a niche, make you think twice kind of phrase. When people ask me what I do for a living, I say, I eat art. And they're like, do I need my hearing aids checked? Did I hear that properly? Or
I thought it was going to be something along the lines where like, oh, you just love art so much, you just eat it up or something like that. But no, yours is way better.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
What do you have coming down the line that you're looking most forward to?
I think I'm most looking forward to giving more of my time to YouTube. I've been in a very transitory period in life. I just graduated from college a few months ago. And I have been trying to balance my art sales job with the content creation that I do for myself. So once I figure out my new permanent residence, because I might be leaving New York, and get an apartment and kind of figure out my work-life balance, I really look forward to, exactly, spreading my wings. I really look forward to dedicating more time to working on content because I think the long form is going to be hopefully a full-time endeavor for me. I really hope so.
I think there's going to be a lot of potential there. And do you have a potential location you want to move to?
Okay, I'm between Miami and LA. So
you're completely two different spots.
Opposite coast. Yeah, I want to be as far as possible. You know, benefits of Florida, the weather, LA, the weather. Yeah. So I'm torn, but we'll see.
I'm like Austin and LA as well. So I'm kind of like in the same boat where it's like,
so nice.
You
gotta stay warm.
I can't stand
screw that New York winter.
Yeah.
No, do summers there, but that's about it.
Yeah, you can do summers, like be a snowbird or something like that.
I'm a young snowbird. That's what we'll call me.
Yeah, in case you're not a retiree. So there's a lot of things we can talk about the next time I have you on, but where can people find you online if they want to know more?
You can find me online at Girl Who Eats Art on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram if you have any questions or you just want to chat.
I got all the links down below for you. And thank you for coming on the show.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me, Dustin. I appreciate you.
This is Dustin PolyInnovator and Juliet Rofe, who is the girl who does everything. Thank you for being here.